from David, you went on to be the MD with Rod, yes?
Yeah. 80, what's that? 70, yeah, 88.
Okay, and how did you get that gig, being musical director? That's quite a responsibility.
Well, that happened by accident because with Bowie it was Carlos Alomar, who was a great teacher.
Right. Yes.
And it was David and Carlos were great teachers of taking on the young. Absolutely blessed and grateful for that from both of them. The Rod gig came about with Tony Thompson was going to do Out of Order album, and Rod was changing his English band and wanted to do more, getting more, because the Americans know how to play the R&B, the real R&B.
Right.
Memphis Stack stuff. We have, that's kind of ours. And so he wanted a band that can play the R&B stuff, the Memphis stuff, the Stack stuff, and English rock. And that's what he was looking for. Because the English band that he had at the time were very good, but they couldn't really swing it with the like having a party, really swing it.
Mm-hmm.
So auditions came in from all over the place, all over the world. And luckily Jeff Gollop, myself, Chuck Kentis, and Tony Thompson got in, and we were called back 3 times for it.
Wow.
So they finally decided to get to this East Coast band, but the second time we got the gig, but we didn't want to dress up like the LA bands. They were like looking to dress us up with spandex and all that kind of stuff. Going, no, we're not those kind of guys. We don't mind theater, but that kind of theater is for guns, not guns, was Poison and all those.
Right, the hair bands, yeah.
The hair bands, exactly. Even though I had kind of an afro back then.
I remember that.
A bit of a fro, a little weird. It was going small. It was getting smaller and smaller over the ages.
I called mine an Isro.
I love that. But yeah, it's just and then what happened? Tony Thompson ended up leaving, and there was, because he was actually the music director for the live tour,
right?
And so it just came on to me going, okay, I just learned a lot of stuff from the Bowie tour from Carlos Alomar. I can, I can work it out, because they looked at me because they saw me directing Traffic all the time.
Okay.
Let's work on this song. Tony, let's do this, whatever. And then we got Tony Brock to come back live, and then I just stayed being a music director for Rod for whatever, till 2003, I guess, 2002. From 88 to 2002. And that was a great experience because, being a Jeff Beck, Rod Stewart fan and Faces, it was just great to do. I kept pushing, let's do this song. Let's do Ace Superstitious. Can we put this in? I kept he would always look at me. He wouldn't know what old song did he want. And, I'm just good.
But also you helped introduce Rod to a new generation, because now production was becoming a lot more tighter. You remember those Jeff Beck records and those Faces records were kind of ramshackle records. They were recorded in 2 weeks, but you helped Rod expand his sound, yet you kept him rooted to his pub rock tradition.
It was great because, again, some of the songs, especially the ones we co-written with him, we make sure that the bass and drums were up front, strong, and he could just sing the way he would sing, like the Faces would do. It was always finding those melodies that would fit with his vocals was a little tricky, and you can't overpower his voice, and that was the magic too. Some bands you could overpower, and some guys would sing or not sing, but Rod is the kind of voice where you have to be careful not to overpower his voice, where it sits in the track.